Today we're going to be talking about the Russian alphabet. So, my friend Mike Simpson started the Russian into Russian challenge, where we are going to be attempting, at least, to try to learn Russian. Attempting to learn Russian, not attempting to try to learn Russian, although that too. um, okay, so I'm going to be looking at the alphabet. I've actually come up with some tips myself already before I came up with this idea. So um, I already know a little bit about where I'm going to go with it. So the Russian alphabet is actually descended from the Greek alphabet, just like the Latin alphabet that English uses. Um, so there are some letters here that are very similar to their Latin equivalent. So you have R, you have O, you have T, you have S. Just imagine English century things like cement. That's a S sound. Then we've got oh yes, and we've also got an M. We've got a K. So there are some letters here that are very similar to the English equivalent. So those are the letters that evolved in a similar way that they did in the Latin alphabet. Now there are ones that look like this, that look like they do in Latin, in the Latin alphabet, but they're pronounced differently. So this is pronounced V, even though it looked like a Latin B. So I came up with a little rhyme for this. Betty vindictively bought very bright violet bells. B-V. So it looked like a B, sounds like a V. Betty vindictively bought very bright violet bells. Okay, so B looks like a B, pronounced as a V. So this looks like E, but actually pronounced yeah. So you pronounce it just like in English you'll say yeah. So yeah. This one with two little dots on it is pronounced yo. This one, oh yes, and then we've got this one. Looks like a h. Is actually pronounced n. So what I thought of here is this looks a bit like an N. It looks a bit like an N. So you in the Latin alphabet you've got an N like that, like that. You get the idea. You've got the N like that. So if you just make it horizontal, then you've got the Russian N sound. So so although it looked like a h, it's actually a n. Then we've got this look like a p. That actually comes from the Greek p. And in Greek what happened is that in Greek what happened is that p, so in the Latin alphabet we've got a kind of a p looking thing, so like that. Can I draw here? Yes, so you've got a like that. So you got that p sound, and what happened is that the one arm of the P came down, and then that's where you get the pi sim. If you ever done if you've been learning maths or whatever, the symbol for pi is that p, and then that's actually the symbol for pi in Greek. Let's just look up the Greek alphabet quickly. Greek alphabet. Okay, so if you look here, this one here is descended from the same character that this one is, but obviously it had a different evolution. So sorry, I meant that one. So you can see the similarity between that and that, and this looked like a p, and also looked like a p there. So then what happened is that in the Latin alphabet, the p ended up getting a little line on it, and then that gave us the Latin R. But what happened with this one is that it kept this kind of p shape, and that's why in the Latin alphabet the p looks like this, even though they're two different letters. So the p and the r, they both evolved in different directions in the Latin alphabet, but in the Cyrillic and the Greek alphabet, they're still quite similar. So if you want to know why the pi, the mathematical symbol pi, is written like that, that's because that comes from the Greek alphabet. And now you can see, so we got a p here, and that actually is pronounced r, because that was the very original way to write a r sound. And in the Latin alphabet, it just got a little thing on it, and that's in languages that use the Latin alphabet, you've got that little stick on it. So if you get something that looks like a p, it's actually a r. And if you got something that looks like the pi symbol, like the mathematical symbol, then you know that that's a p sound. So I also made a little rhyme for this. Rita petted red parrot and red purple Roombas. Yes, of course that does make sense. But just for the sound. Rita petted red parrot and red purple Roombas. R, pronounced r, look like a p. Okay, so the next one we've got is this one that looked like a Y, that is pronounced oo. So if you're wondering why it's pronounced like that, or it just is. So one way to remember it is that in English, U is spelled with a Y, with a Y at the beginning, but it's pronounced U. So U is pronounced U. So the U starts with a Y and it's pronounced oo. Okay. The next one that looks very similar to a character in the Latin alphabet is this X. So this is a sound we don't have in English, or at least not in standard English. It's a h sound. So it's pronounced at the back of the throat. It is found in Scots, Loch, so like the Loch Ness Monster, and a lot of other languages have it. So it's a German, Rache, and various things like that. Acht, it's got the ch sound. So, and now what's interesting is that if you see this column here is the IPA. So that's the name in Russian, and that's the IPA sound. So be, ve, ge, and so on. So now, if you look here, you can see there's actually no h sound. So when native Russians try to say hello, they often say hello because this is the closest sound. So it's basically a h with a bit of gravel in it. So h. So now you can put on a Russian accent and you can say hello, how are you? So that's the X sound. Okay, now we get into the ones that look a bit different. Okay, this one is actually quite easy to remember because it looks like a bee, but it's just got a piece bitten out of it. So I came up with the rhyme: big black bears bit a bit off Barry's big black ear. So Barry the bear had his big black big big black oh no, it's a tongue twister. Big black ear bitten off. So it looks like a bee, but it's got a little piece taken out of it. So it's b. So the b with the little piece taken out is b, and the normal b is v. Okay, the next one we've got here is a g sound. So now, when I first looked at this, I looked at each one and I thought, how can I make some kind of connection with it? This looks a bit like a gun. So like pew pew. So the g looks like a gun, and you can say to people, put your hand in the air. Pew pew. So that's the g sound. So if you see this little thing, and it looks like a gun, then you can say, okay, that's a g sound. So the gun is pronounced as a g. Okay, this one is looks very different to anything we have in the Latin alphabet, but this is just a weird looking d. You can see even in the cursive it looks like a d. So if you look at this, it looks a bit like a dome. So it's got some kind of bottom and then it's got a thing over it. So the mnemonic I came up with for the mnemonic I came up for it is: Dave drove dry deer during dinner to the delightful dome. So the d. So the dome, this dome looking thing, is a d. So Dave drove dry deer during dinner to the delightful dome. D. Okay, now we've got this funny one over here. This looks a bit like a spider. So we've got a little spider looking thing here. We actually do have this on English, but it's spelled completely differently. This is a j sound. So the spider's aversion to decisions can lead to confusion and collusion. The spider's aversion to decisions can lead to confusion and collusion. So the spider looking thing, the spider likes to make decisions. The spider likes to make decisions. Okay, the next one that looks a bit like a 3 is actually a z sound. So it looks a bit like a 3. So 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z, or as everyone else says, Z. So 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z. 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z. So this looks like a 3, but it's actually a Z or a Z. This one is quite interesting. It's pronounced E, and in most languages that use the Latin alphabet, that E sound in English would be written with 2 E's, but because of various things that that's the reason we don't use the actual I character for that sound, because it changed a long time ago. So if you look at this, it looks like two capital I's connected in the middle. So two I's make an E sound. I, E. But that might be a bit hard to remember for native English speakers because they used to the I having an I sound. So if you've ever watched the movie, what's it called? The Quest for the Holy Grail. You remember the knight who say ni. The thing that looked like a backwards N is a N, and the knights who say ni. It looked like a N, it's pronounced like an E. So N, E, ni. The knights who say ni, turn the N around and you get the E sound. This is E kratke, and is just the E with a little hat on it, and it's pronounced Y. So it's a E with a little Y. So instead of E, it goes to a different place and goes Y. This one should also be easy to remember. This, if you look carefully, let's change to let's change to paint. Okay, so I'm sure I'm not writing this how a Russian would write it, but okay, so that is the L in Russian. Let's use, yes, this is super high tech here. Okay, so we've got this slope up here. So it looks a bit like the Russian P. The Russian P is like that. So we've got the slope up here, but the slope is just a backwards L, or it looks like a backwards L. So the backwards L on Russian is a L sound. So we've got a backwards L, then a house or a building like a skyscraper, and that's a L sound. So backwards L is an L sound, and the backward N is ni. Oh, the second part of the ni is E. So backward N makes an E sound. Okay, and let's go back. There we go. Okay, and this is obviously M, the same as English. Or, it's not O, it's or. So like, I'm doing this or that. This looks a bit like a building, or the pi character. Remembering it as pi is probably easier, but I also wrote a rhyme for that one. So Peter picks a peck of pickled buildings. So it looked like a P. So you want to pick a peck of pickled peppers. Peter picked a peck of pickled peppers. Okay, let's look at the next one. So that's a P, like the pi character. That's a R. That's like cent or century. This is obviously a T. The U, the pronoun you starts with a Y, and it's pronounced U or U. Whoops. I didn't want to do that. This is a funny looking one, but I realize this looks a bit like a lollipop. The Fred wants lollipops. Fred, this is pronounced Fred fed the lollipop 4 fried fish. So Fred fed the lollipop. This looks like a lollipop. Fred fed the lollipop 4 fried fish. This we don't. That doesn't look like any Latin character, I know. But it's quite easy to pronounce. It's like the ts in cats or tsunami. Then we got this one. This one has also got an easy trick to it. This is just an upside down chair. So you've got a chair here. So if you turn it 180, so this one, let's go to paint. So this one is, we've got something like that, and that is just a chair that's been flipped 180. And I'm saying chair because this makes a ch sound. It's not exactly ch, it's something like here, but you can get that. You can get it exactly right later, but it's definitely pretty clear to say ch. So the upside down chair that has been stacked against the wall is a ch sound. This sounds pretty close to sh. So shut the shutters and sit in the shop. These look a bit like shutters. So, oh whoops, I didn't change back. I didn't change back to Wikipedia. Okay, so here are our shutters. So this is pronounced sh. Now if you just add a line to the top, now we've got shutters, and we want to shut the shutters and sit in the shop. So this is the Russian character for sh. It's not exactly sh, but it's close. And then let's go back. Okay, this is similar to that our other ch sound. This is sh, something like that. So this one is sh and this is sh. This next one here, this is the tvedesnak. So this is the hardener or the hard sound. Russian has got a thing called palatalization. Say that 10 times fast. Palatalization. What that does is that adds a y type sound. So if you've ever heard someone doing a bad Russian accent, they'll do something like, yes, I am here. Yes, we are going to they put a lot of yes in it. So they would say, yes, we are just going down to, and so on and so on. So the year, that year is actually palatalization. The tongue gets placed on the palate. So some of these characters are actually palatalized. I think can't remember which one at the moment. So this one, because it's got a little stick on it that tells you this is the hard sound and it stops the palatalization happening. This one is, and this one is the soft sound. This is the miakisnak. So there you can say that little j on the IPA is palatalized. Without the palatalized, it would be makisnak. But it's miakisnak. And so this is the soft sound and it doesn't have that bar. This one, the sound we don't really have in English, it's u. So u is do. It's a bit like what happened, the sound you make when you get punched. No, The example they give here is rose is roses or hit. And these last two shouldn't be too hard. This also looks a bit like an E or a 3, but you can see this one is curved, and this one is straight. So a bit like a backward C with a line. So you could say it's a bit like the HE in air, or the AI in the EA, EI in air, like the air of an empire, or AI as in air, the air that you breathe. So it looks it looks like a 3, but it's like a hard 3. This one this one is pronounced a U. So that one looks quite weird compared to all the other ones, but you can just look at it and get used to the fact that this one, the weird one, is U. This one, if you ever seen Toys R Us, it just looks like a backwards R, and that's pronounced Ya. So those are actually all the letters. So once you get over how different some of them are, and the ones that are really different are like these ones at the end, and even they are not so bad. Like you already know k, m, s, and t, and some of them can be very easy to remember. Ch, because it looks like a chair. This bare bit of the ear is a b. This looks like a gun, g. This looks like a dome, d. This looks like a spider. You get pleasure from decisions. This looks like a 3, so XYZ, 3. The notes to say ni, backwards N. The backwards N looks like the note to say ni. So backwards N makes the E sound. Okay, this is backwards L plus a little extra piece. So L, M. This is an N. So the N is it's like that. And then you just make it horizontal and you get a N. This looks a bit like the pi symbol from Greek. And it's a P sound. This is looks like a P, but it's pronounced like a R. This is a lollipop that Fred loves to eat. So looks like a lollipop, pronounced like a F. This is like the Loch Ness monster, G. This is S, Sh, Sh. This is the Tvedesnak, the hard sound, because it's got a dash. This is the I sound. This is the softened sound. It palatalizes, so it adds a Y sound. This is U. Okay, so this is E, U, and Ya. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to be putting all of that together into like a little infographic. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to just go through each of them. The advantage of Cyrillic is that it's not completely different to the Latin alphabet, and there are some letters that are even the same. So it shouldn't be too daunting. And then in the next episode of this Russian to Russian challenge, we can look at some words and actually kind of sound them out. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to be